Okay, now for the main event. As we sort of wrap up our plenary sessions, today is the last official plenary session. Thank you. I figured that would get a round of applause. We have a guest speaker today, and Missy is going to talk about diversity and some things of that nature, and so it sort of ties nicely with the compassion theme that we've talked about thus far this year and that we will continue to talk about in your iConnect classes. And so I'm going to give you just a little bit of background about her. Missy Chambliss was born and raised in the underappreciated and beautiful city of Cleveland, Ohio. She received a Bachelor's of Arts degree in psychology from Taylor Upland. Her time during and after college were filled with several wonderful and life-changing experiences, including receiving her Master's of Counseling degree from Regent University in Virginia Beach, Virginia. She is grateful that these enriching experiences have taken her all over the world and have given her perspective and a great love and passion for people, culture, and social justice issues. In August of 2010, Missy moved to Austin. She immediately fell in love with the warm weather, the friendly spirit, and amazingly diverse culture that the city offers. As an amateur foodie, she is in heaven there. Missy currently serves as the Assistant Director of Student Life at St. Edward's University in Austin, Texas. She oversees the area of multicultural and diversity affairs and supervises a student programming board that provides cultural events and education for the entire campus. So we are very fortunate to have Missy today. She's going to address you guys, and I just ask that we show our best side to her and are sort of on our best behavior. So I will hand it over to Missy.
Oh. Well, thank you. Am I on? That's okay. I'm thrilled to be with you all today. I am not a formal lecturer, so I like to walk around and talk and look at people, so I hope that's okay, and it's a good feeling for you guys. I heard some of you booing when you mentioned that the retreat was in Ohio. That hurts my feelings a little bit, but that's okay. I work with college students, so I realize this is a prime opportunity and attention span for all of you. Friday at 2:30, yeah? Are you feeling tired from the week? Yeah? Are you ready for your weekend? I'm ready for my weekend too, so. Thank you. You're going to switch over my slides for me. I have been here actually since Wednesday night, and last night I got to speak with some of your student leaders, and they were such a fun group. I will talk a little bit about myself and where I'm from so you can learn a little bit about me, but they were so enthusiastic and kind, which made me feel like that might be what all of you are like too, so I'm really excited to spend some time with you. As I told them last night, I don't like to talk to people I don't know, so I'd like to get to know you guys a little bit. Is that okay? Thank you. And I like when people talk to me. It's like a discussion. That's why I'm all the way out here. So this is kind of a stand-up, get you moving, get you, oh my gosh. Sorry, I just saw my mom. Hi, Mom. This is my best friend, Melissa, works at the University of St. Francis. You guys might know her. And that's my second mom. Hi, Mom. So good to see you. I'm glad I told her she couldn't come, but obviously she didn't listen, so that's all right. Okay, so if you are from Indiana, stand up. Awesome. Okay. Hello, Indiana. Hoosiers. Good to see you. Okay. You can sit down. Thanks. If you are not from Indiana, stand up. Okay, so I see some people on some blasphemous stuff already. This gentleman right here has a blasphemous shirt on. That's okay. I'm assuming that you're from Michigan. Are you from Michigan? You're from, why are you wearing that shirt? Just kidding. Okay, where are you guys from? From not Ohio or Indiana. Where are you from? Chicago? Oh, Io. I'm going to, yes, go Bucks. New Jersey? Go ahead. That's far away. Where else? Oh, Michigan. Did we miss anybody else? Where? Ohio, okay. All right, thanks. Y'all can sit down. One person from New Jersey. How did you hear about school all the way out here? Long story. Okay, maybe you tell me later. Okay, if you like college football, stand up. Okay. Not a lot of college football fans. I love college football. Okay, sit down. If you love food, stand up. Okay, just checking. So if you have never been to Austin, Texas, great food. You should come down there. Awesome food trailers, amazing, I love it. Okay, sit down. If you love reality TV, stand up. Yeah, okay. What are some of our favorite reality TV shows? Honey Boo Boo, I've seen that, that's fun, yes. What else? Duck Dynasty, I have not seen that, but I just saw a commercial for that last night. Okay, what else? Any Amazing Race fans in here? You don't even know what the Amazing Race is? Okay, Survivor fans, Jersey Shore, Real Housewives of you name the town? No? Okay. Okay, so this is my last one. How many of you in here are college freshmen? If you are, stand up. College freshmen, get up off your feet. So there are some people in here who are not college freshmen. That whole back corner over there, what year are you all? Oh, see, I'm gonna call you out. That's how I roll. Okay, you're all freshmen. All right, it's good to be with you guys. Thanks for that. The reason I do that is just because I kind of like to get to know who I'm talking to, and then you guys might be able to find some points of connection with me. Here we go. Before I start our talk, I always like to have what I call rules of engagement. And kind of what I think that does is it helps set the stage for what we're going to do today. Kind of lets you know where I'm coming from, and then it gives me an opportunity to know where you might be coming from. And I always feel like when we talk about diversity things, sometimes it gets real awkward for folks. Has anybody experienced that before? Just me? It sometimes gets awkward for me. I'm the one talking about it. Okay. And so what I found helpful is to have just some ways for me to say, this is how I'm going to be with you, and hopefully you will be this way with me. The first one is I'm always going to be open and honest. I have lived my entire life that way in my communication to you, so I'm not going to act like I know everything there is to know about diversity, because I don't. I feel like it's a process that takes a long time. I feel like I have a good amount of information, and so I'm going to share that with you today, but I'm not going to act like I have all the answers. The other is I always believe in walking into a situation where all perspectives are welcome. That doesn't mean that everybody has to agree with everyone, but we all will agree on that this space, you can have a perspective that might differ from me, and that is okay, and it's also welcome here as well. Can y'all see over me? I'll just keep walking this way and that way so everybody has to see. The other is I always think it's important for us to speak from personal experience. So any story I tell will be from my experience, my personal experience. I won't say, oh, once I heard the story about this, it happened, and da-da-da-da. I'll just tell you about what I know. And so when you're speaking, and you will, because you see those microphones right there and there, those are for you guys. And I know you like to talk, because I heard you for the first 20 minutes you were in here. Lots of chatter, so let's keep that up. But when you do speak, always use I statements about how you feel or what your thoughts are. Say, this is how I feel or what I am thinking. And then when someone else is talking, whether that be me or one of your fellow classmates, please just listen respectfully and pay attention. I know it's easy to be on our cell phones, always connected. My iPhone is right up there, but that's for time, not for me to do anything while I'm talking with you guys. The other is to be willing to be open to new perspectives, because I might say some stuff up here that might not sit so well with you, and you might not like it. That's okay. And there might be some things I say that really resonate with you, regardless of what those things are. Make sure that you keep an open mind and be open to new perspectives. And this is one for you all as well as for me, is to take risk and to say the things that are unsaid. So sometimes we have thoughts about things and we just hold on to them. We don't actually speak them out. But speaking them out might bring up something that somebody else might have been thinking as well, and it allows us to realize that we're not alone in our thoughts or our experiences. So take risks. And when I ask questions to you guys, come up to the microphone. If microphones are intimidating to you, just stand up where you are and answer. That will be fine. The other is, too, whenever I go to, this is your last one. I'm really happy to be your last one. I once was a freshman in college and realized that on a Friday, this is not really where I wanted to be, so thank you guys for being here. But it was hard. I got a lot of information. Wasn't always sure what to do with it. So I'd suggest to you guys to do what I do whenever I go to conferences or in sessions and just try to take one thing away. You don't have to remember every single thing that we'll talk about today, but just take away what I like to call a nugget. I got that from my roommate. And the other is, this is my most important rule of all time, because it really is just about me. But when you're up here and you're talking to people, and how many of you have ever been in speech class? Okay. Is it easy to talk to people when they have like blank faces and act like they don't really care what you're talking about? Is that easy? Well, as a grown-up, I feel that way too. So when I'm talking to you guys, if I ask you a question, please talk back to me, interact with me. That's what this is about. I mean, could be doing other things, and so I'd rather not lecture, but to engage you guys in conversation. So don't leave me hanging out to dry, please. Can you guys agree to that? Thank you, that's beautiful. And the other thing is, hang in there. I realize it is like 2 o'clock on a Friday, and we're all thinking about what we're gonna be doing for the next 2 days. Hang in there with me. I promise to make it worth your while, and let's try to have a little fun. How's that sound? Yeah? Okay. Anybody want to add anything to that? No? Okay. So let's talk about me for a while. Can we do that? Okay. So I thought, I don't want to be a stranger standing up here talking to you about all this stuff. I want to be a little vulnerable and transparent with you so that when I ask you to do that, you'll do that with me too. So this very top picture is of my very short family. They're not, just my mom. My mom, literally this tall. I should say she's small but mighty, because I'm scared of her still. But that's my older brother in the middle, my younger brother. Next to him, my dad, my mom, and myself, like, maybe 4 Easters ago. And I always like to say I am the second shortest person in my family, because I have heels on in that picture. So, but I love them, and that's outside our house in Cleveland, Ohio, which is where I grew up. The second picture is my baby girl. I love her. This is Frances. And Frances is 17 months old now. She's adorable. She's got a lot of attitude. Don't know where she got that from. And then my brother and my sister-in-law are the proud parents of Frances. And she has brought a lot of joy into our lives. And I will say, does anybody have nieces, nephews? Yeah, do you love them? Sometimes you do. Sometimes you want to throw them out the window. Yes? Okay, I'm going to tell you guys this funny story just because it sort of hurt my feelings, but I thought it was funny. So Francie is now into saying that she has pretty hair. And she'll say, my hair pretty. And so I live in Austin, they live in Cincinnati, and so I Skype with them like every other day, which is kind of fun when they're growing in the stage. So I said to her, Francie, does Aunt Missy have pretty hair? She goes, no. I was like, wait a minute, what? I was like, wait, what did you say? And so then I was like, Francie, does Daddy have pretty hair? And she goes, yes. And I said, does Uncle Stephen have pretty hair? Yes. And I was like, maybe she really does know what she's saying right now. And so then I was like, Francie, do you have pretty hair? My hair pretty. And then I was like, does Aunt Missy have pretty hair? No. And I was like, what? You're like 7? And I was like, hurt my feelings the whole time. And I was like, that's fine, I'll get you back. But then she shares her fruit snacks with me through the computer. And I always say fruit snacks are love. So if she gives you fruit snacks, she loves you. So that's okay if my hair wasn't pretty to her, that's fine. These are like just bright spots in my life. And I think I have learned a lot about who I am through my family. And I've learned through my niece that I don't have pretty hair. That's okay. Well, at least she doesn't think that I do, but I do. But I've learned a lot about them. And we all come from different families, yes, whatever their makeup might be. And they kind of tell us a little bit about who we are. And so I think that's important, especially when you are on this journey about learning who you are and what your place is on this, what I like to call journey of discovering about diversity. The way that you grew up and where you grew up sort of impacts that. So I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. It was normal to me. A lot of my friends were Jewish. I'm not Jewish, but I know a lot about Jewish traditions and cultures. So one of the first things I ever learned about Jewish culture is, guess what? They don't celebrate Christmas. Did you know that? They do not celebrate Christmas. Who doesn't celebrate Christmas? I was so shocked. Then I found out that instead of celebrating Christmas, they celebrate, anybody know? Hanukkah. And then you know what else I found out? You get more presents during Hanukkah than you do during Christmas. I was like, I want to be Jewish. This is what I want to do. I realized that there is a lot of tradition and theology that goes behind celebrating Hanukkah. But then it also, for me, was a realization that somebody else did something differently than the way that I do it. And so one of the ways that plays out that you may never even think about is that we no longer call it Christmas break, we call it winter break, because during the Christmas season, not everyone celebrates Christmas. They may celebrate other things or nothing at all. So that was just one small reminder to me that this world is different than just my experience, and that was one way I learned that. Like I said before, I actually have lived in Indiana. I lived in Indiana for 9 years. I worked at an institution just down the road from here, Taylor University. Anybody ever heard of it? Yeah, anybody been to Upland? Anybody been to Ivanhoe's? Ivanhoe's, what'd you say? I heard somebody. Yeah? Anybody been to Ivanhoe's? Oh my gosh, that place, so good. I just heard that you just went for the first time. So good. You'll gain a lot of weight, but it's so worth it because you can work it off. Other things that I thought would be fun to know about me, any of you guys taken the Myers-Briggs? I figured as freshmen you do all these personality inventories and stuff. Myers-Briggs takers? Yes? No? Long time? Myers-Briggs type indicator? Okay, well, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's a personality test, tells you a little bit about who you are and how you interact with other people. I am an INFJ, which means that I'm introverted, not antisocial, I like to say. But it also just gives you a perspective about how you look at the world. I am a therapist by trade, so I was doing that before I was doing multicultural work, so it was really helpful for me and a perspective giver for me as well. Anybody done Strengths Quest before? Just Jackson, awesome. So Strengths Quest is this test that you can take that a lot of times when you navigate in the world, people always tell you all the things that you do wrong, right? You should do better at this. You should do better at this. You could be better at this. Well, the awesome thing about StrengthsFinder is you take this test and it tells you all the things that you're good at. So that instead of having to sit around thinking about all the things you do horribly, this is a way that you can interact in the world, putting your best foot forward. That's kind of awesome, yes? Okay, so my top strengths are I am a relator, empathy, consistency, harmony, and connectedness. So if you go and take this test and read all about that kind of stuff, you will learn that me talking about multicultural and diversity things actually is kind of in my wheelhouse. I do it well, it's a good fit for who I am and what my strengths are. But out of all the things you need to know about me, how much I love my family, what my strengths are, where I went to school, all that, the best thing that you can know about me is that I am an Ohio State Buckeye fan. Yes. It is the core of who I am. I didn't even go to school there, but that's where I grew up. But here's the other thing. This is why I say this, because I think this is a great transition. My best friend, do you know who she cheers for? Anybody want to guess? I know. And you know, if she and I could be best friends for 16 years, and my deep heart love is for Ohio State and hers is for the University of Michigan, that tells me we can make the world a better place. Don't you think so? Okay, that's good. Thank you for bearing with me. All right, let's get to the nitty-gritty stuff. Why are we talking about diversity again? There are some great things that you guys should know about your generation. One of them is your generation is one of the first generations ever to be born that diversity and multiculturalism is not something new to them. Did you know that? Yeah, so can anybody remember, and this is an opportunity for you to share, the first time you ever heard the word diversity or multiculturalism? How old you were? When you went to a what? If you say it to me, I'm going to repeat it. I think I heard what. Go. Say it. Okay. How old were you? First grade. Okay. All-white school, as an African American, that will let you know something is different about the world, most definitely. First grade. Anybody else? How old are you in first grade? 7, 8, something like that? Okay. How about for the rest of you? First memory, any recollection or something like that the world was kind of different for you? Yes, ma'am. Really young because you're adopted, yes. That will help you see the world differently as well. Okay, so I think when we talk about diversity and we say multiculturalism or racial issues or anything, this is what people think of. All these pictures from way back when, which honestly, it's not way back when. This is like 1950. When we were burning crosses and sicking dogs on people and hanging people from trees and not allowing people to vote, including women, and putting people in internment camps and all that, kicking people off their land, all stuff that happened in the United States, yes? Yes, okay. Making sure you guys went history, right? So, like, why are we talking about that? We are, has anybody heard this term, a post-racial era? Okay, post-racial era means that we are beyond all of that stuff. We don't have to deal with any of that stuff anymore. And I say, okay, I agree with some of that. I don't agree with all of it, but I agree with some of it. So we are doing a lot better in some areas. But then I still have to ask myself a question. So I'm going to share with you guys a video that I watched. This is of a comedian, and I think I'm throwing out that he's a comedian, so if you laugh, you don't have to feel bad. That's fine. You're supposed to laugh. He's a comedian, okay? And so then we're going to have a little bit of a dialogue about this particular video, and then I want to hear your thoughts on it. So make sure you pay close attention. His name is Tim. He's Australian, and he's crazy looking. All right, here we go.
This is a song about prejudice and the language of prejudice and the power of the language of prejudice. It's called prejudice. In our modern free-spoken society, there is a word that we still hold taboo. A word with a terrible history of being used to abuse, oppress and subdue. Just 6 seemingly harmless letters arranged in a way that will form a word with more power than the pieces of metal that are forged to make swords. A couple of G's, an R and an E, an I and an N. Just 6 little letters, all jumbled together, have caused damage that we may never mend. And it's important that we all respect that if these people should happen to choose to reclaim the word as their own, it doesn't mean the rest of you have a right to its use. So never underestimate the power that language imparts. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can break hearts. A couple of G's, cheese, unless you've had to live it. An R and an E, even I am careful with it. An I and an N, in the end it will only offend. Don't wanna have to spell it out again. Yeah. Only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. Only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. So listen to me if you care for your health. You won't call me ginger unless you're ginger yourself, yeah. Only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. When you are a ginger, life is pretty hard. Years of ritual bullying in the schoolyard. The kids calling you Wrangler and Fanta Pants. No invitation to the high school dance, but you get up and learn to hold your head up. You try to keep you cool and not get head up, but until the feeling of ill is truly let up, then the word is ours and ours alone. Don't you know that only a ginger can call another ginger ginger?
Okay, I would start singing that. Only a ginger. Oh, see, it gets a little vile, and I can't. He talks about some stuff that, you know. So I like to keep it PG. That's PG. But you know what? If you want the link, I'll give you the link to it so you can watch it. It's called Prejudice by Tim Mooney. So, all right. Tim, T-I-M. Let's talk about that. So I'm going to ask the obvious question. Who thought from the very beginning when he was spelling out those letters he was talking about ginger, redheaded people? Raise your hand. Raise them high if that was really you. There are 4 of us. Okay. The first time I saw that video, I was starting to get all hot and heated because I was like, excuse me, you're not supposed to be singing about that, right? I seriously thought he was singing about, anybody? Thank you. So let's say, I mean, y'all hear it on the radio. If you listen to rap and hip hop, they say it all the time. Don't act like, oh my gosh, right? And then I'm thinking, here is this white man, seriously, here's this white man singing about that, talking about reclaiming the word and all that. No, he better not. That's where I was going, right? And then all of a sudden, he starts going, only in ginger can call. And I was like, what? It blew my mind. I was not going there, right? Like most of this room, y'all were not going there, were you? Okay, so then I had to say to myself, if I live in a post-racial era, why did I not think that he was singing about redheaded people? Well, you couldn't see that his hair was red at the beginning? I think even if his hair was red, I still would not have gone to the ginger route. I'm going to tell you why I did not go there. I did not go in there because I was raised in a society where people use the word nigger, where, I mean, lots of people. I don't personally. I don't like the word, and that's a whole other story. But, you know, and I also had to realize, and I only saw this video for the first time maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I was also raised in a context that taught me that if I put, let's see, an N, 2 G's, an E and R, and an I together, that spells nigger. That does not spell ginger. Although, guess what? It does. You know, so I'm putting all these clues together. I'm African American. I've lived a certain experience. Yes, I'm putting all these things together. So 1 + 1 + 1 equals 7. What? Because that's how I think of it. Like, that doesn't add up. So that's what I was saying. This video showed to me that, like, no matter how much we've done, and we've done some good work, there's still a lot of work for us to do. I forgot my clicker. I need it, right? Because the face of what we're dealing with now looks a little differently. Would you guys agree with that? Right? So no, we're not, you know, putting people in internment camps in our country. We're not kicking people off their land anymore. We're not burning crosses. We're not doing that. But we are still doing a lot of messed up stuff to people. Okay? So, and this is all stuff that's happened post-2001. So I would venture to say that the reason it's necessary for us to continue to have these conversations is because there is still a lot of work for us to do. And when I say us, I mean you all are the future. Y'all are my future, you know? And so the world is going to be depending on you to be the ones to do it. So how many of you are between the ages of 18 and 22? Most of you. Some of you are a little younger, some of you are a little older, okay? So in 20 years, would you like to see some of this stuff different? You might not want to. Would you like to be able to drive around in your car and not get pulled over just because of how you look? Okay. Would you like to be able to have somebody run for president and it not be about what he looks like, but really about what his politics are about? I would like to. Would you like to be a woman working the same job as a man and get paid the same amount of money that he gets paid? I would, you know? And so the people who are going to make that happen, I could have a little part in that, but that's you guys. 20 years from now, I'd like to see what you would do to kind of help do that. So what we're going to talk about today is how do we get there? What are we going to do? So let's start with some basics. The word diversity. Don't look at the slide. I know I already changed it. Don't look at the slide. It's hard to do. If I asked you to define diversity for me, what would you say? I said, don't look at the slide. Mm-hmm. Anybody, what's diversity? You've heard it your whole life. Being different. Diversity is being different. Go ahead. A variety. This group is trouble right here. I can already tell. I don't know y'all, but I can tell. Combinations. Okay. So I went. Did you say something? I didn't hear you. Oh, okay. So I went to the dictionary, because the dictionary is a place where you can find what words mean, yes? Y'all know what a dictionary is? Okay. No. Come talk to me later. All right. So the English dictionary in 1999 defined diversity as a variety of something such as opinion or color or style. So like you could have a variety of apples. That's diversity, right? Because apples, different kinds of apples and stuff like that. It also defined it as ethnic variety as well as socioeconomic and gender variety in a group, society, or institution. So that took us down another level because it was more than just stuff. It happens like in a group or in a larger society or in an institution like the one that you're in, University of St. Francis. It also defined it as a discrepancy or a difference from what is normal or expected. And then that last part rubbed me the wrong way. Does anybody want to guess why? If you can see it, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm in the way. That last one, it's just a guess. It's no right or wrong. It says normal. It says what's normal. What is normal? That, you know what? That is a great question. I think if you ask yourself that question for the rest of your life, it will open up so many doors for you. What is normal? Well, I might think that I'm normal, so normal is whatever I define as true for myself. And then what I compare to other people. So since most of you in this room, I would assume, are not like me, y'all are not normal. How does it make you feel? Not so good, right? When I think about diversity, and I would like to invite you guys to consider this with me, this is kind of what I think. And I know that I have broken every PowerPoint presentation rule by putting more than, I think, 15 words on a slide? 7? Ooh, all of my PowerPoints are wrong then. But you guys will bear with me on that, right? No, I'm sorry, just forgive me, okay? In its broadest context, I believe diversity is defined as recognizing, appreciating, valuing, and utilizing the unique talents and contributions of all individuals. Do you guys feel good about that part? Yeah? I do, okay. Regardless of what age they are, what career experience, their color, their communication style, their culture, disability, educational level or background, employment status, ethnicity, family status, function, gender, language, management style, marital status, national origin, organizational level, parental status, physical appearance, race, regional origin, religion, sexual orientation, thinking style, speed of learning, comprehension, etc. Anybody see something up there that they have never heard used when defining the word diversity? If you have, tell me what it was. Species, okay. What else? Okay. I would agree with that. Anything up there that you've not seen before when talking about what diversity is? Yes, ma'am. Your parental status, whether or not you have kids. What else? Anything? Speed of learning, yes. There are lots for me. I never thought about thinking style, that how people think or comprehend or turn information around and process information in their mind. That was new to me when I first saw this. I never thought about if you had a job or not. Anybody ever thought about that? The reason I love this definition so much is because it takes how we normally speak about diversity, I think, to another level. And it opens the doors for everyone, regardless of who they are or what their experiences are, to be part of that conversation. I think that's kind of cool. So what this does means that now all of us in this room, regardless if we thought we had something to do with this conversation or not, now have something to do with this conversation. Do we not? Yes. The one thing on here, too, that I always like to point out to you is when it talks about what your family status is. So y'all don't know this yet because y'all don't really pay a lot of taxes. But if you are in my age bracket and single, which I am, and I am in my age bracket and all that, I pay a higher rate of taxes. And then I don't get any tax cuts because I don't have any kids and all this stuff. So I found all that, and I was like, that kind of makes me mad. So when people talk about taxes, I really listen because it really does kind of affect me. So, but those are all things. So I say, let us consider this as our definition as we go through the rest of the day. Can we do that? Okay.